Hey guys, I thought I'd do a video in English once again. It's been a while. So what I want to talk about today, and what kind of just like really bugs me because I don't think it's real, is this like belief that spirituality is connected with a life where we don't feel pain anymore, like a life where we don't suffer anymore. And that's, I think, largely due to that spirituality is very capitalistic now, it's very commercial now. So, and we know, like, I agree with what Buddha said, but I don't agree with what Western Buddhism says. Because we know that like some of the scriptures, like in the beginning, they were translated in the wrong way. And a lot of like Western Buddhists, like preachers and whatever, they still stick to that old thing, yeah? And so like Western Buddhism is a lot about like non-attachment, yeah? So you live in a life that you don't even connect with anymore, yeah? You just go into the complete role of the observer. And in my understanding, what I learned from my Tibetan friends, that's not really what Buddha said. Buddha was about going into the observer role, but still living the life, still feeling your emotions, thinking your thoughts, but treating them as visitors. But during the time they visit you, they are real. And thinking that spirituality is about just like believing this is Maya and I'm not even really here and this is all an illusion, yeah, that's part of it. But then another part of it is that you are here right now. And there are things that you have to live through. And like what really bugs me so much is that a lot of people that actually have like in their Facebook status like studied at the University of Life are exactly the ones that tell you that once you like attune to the right frequency, everything will fall into place and everything will be just miraculously wonderful from then on. And that's not gonna happen. That's a capitalistic lie, because then you would not be alive. Earth is a school. In school we learn, yeah? So everything on the outside in this scenario here, let's call it Maya, I don't care, but still it mirrors us what we are too. So there is day and night, yeah? There is rain and sun. There is not just one thing. Like imagine that from this day onwards only the sun would shine in your life. Imagine, we would all die from hunger within 2 years. And that's the same thing that, like I observe a lot because I would say that I grew up white privilege. That when people go through phases where they are doing good enough for too long, they actually get very cocky. And they actually like get into the mode of, yeah, like everyone that's not getting it is doing something wrong. But that's not the case. It's just that you are like in that sun mode at the moment. But if you believe that you are in sun mode because you did something for it and then you're in rain mode, this will cause you to shame you when life sucks, And then there is another thing that, that thing about being in the flow. In my honest opinion, you cannot be not in the flow, yeah? Currently, like my whole body falls apart, yeah? So like my teeth is broken, my eye, my foot, everything is kind of sick, yeah? But I don't believe that means that I'm not in the flow. It means that my physical body works very good because it reacts when it's triggered, it reacts when something is not good. So that's the job of my physical body, It's actually healthy to be sick, yeah? You get a real problem when your body can't be sick anymore. that's when you are actually sick. As long as your physical body can get sick and it can heal itself, it's actually healthy. Yeah. And by sticking to this belief that we can do something for it all to be fluffy and shiny, and we can do something for it to be really bad, that's too much responsibility, you know? That's like, it's gonna happen. There are gonna be good years and there are gonna be bad years, you know? And I think what Buddha meant, and what I also teach and what I live, is to not identify with what's happening. Yeah. And when I blame and shame myself for what's happening, that's when I identify with it. Yeah. And that doesn't necessarily mean that I don't create my reality, but I believe that I create my reality on how I look at what's happening. Yeah. So for me right now, like, I have to deal with a lot like of internal pain, because I have this like capitalistic conditioning of having to work all the time and function all the time, and now I can't because my body doesn't. And I deal with the pain, you know. I don't go into, oh, I meditated away. No, I go into meditation and I deal with the pain that is caused by my own thoughts, by my own mental body and its workings and its conditionings, that right now I should be doing more than I'm capable of right now. Yeah. And I know that's a conditioning. And if I just like kind of spiritually bypass this pain by saying, oh yeah, it's only Maya, it's only an illusion, or over identify with it by blaming myself for being sick or like being in this state, you know, I believe that what Buddha meant with a state of like the least suffering possible is by understanding that each situation, each thought, each emotion, and each vision, as well as each physical sensation, is a visitor. And what do we do with visitors? We invite them for a tea. We talk to them. We are with them. That's the observer role. And then they leave again. Yeah? But what this main focus on the observer role alone did is that we don't invite them for tea anymore. And that's where I see that that's the spirituality I don't agree with. Like, I actually, like, I don't even want to use this word anymore. I wish there was another one, because it's like what it became is not what it is. Yeah. Spirituality is never a way of like finding heaven on the outside. It's about finding heaven within, and heaven within is a place of perspective. And this perspective is that I'm in a school here, and this school entails emotional teachings, mental teachings, astral teachings, and physical teachings. And all of them are valid, and none of them is better or worse. Yeah? It took me so many years, but I love being physical. I love this vessel. Like, I love it so much. And that's also what I see a lot with people, like that they, like, for example, right now, yeah, like I'm starting to bleed soon, so my hair is not really like in the condition that it usually is. Yeah. And like for years I was like, why does my hair do this thing all the time where it's like looking good for some time and then it doesn't look good for some time? And I did all of this like wellness things and masks and blah blah blah, and at some point when I started to study deeply hormones and all these things, I understood that it was just because of my cycle. And I understood also that I was so focused on what my hair looks like, and it also feels a bit weird, and it feels like a little bit damp, that I forgot about the real function of my hair. And the real function of my hair is actually to protect the skin of my head and to keep my head warm. And it's a real protection. Yeah. So, and my hair never stopped protecting my head. It never stopped doing its real function. It just didn't look as it was supposed to look. Yeah. And like I feel like a lot of like today's thing is about how something looks instead of how it feels. Like when people ask me, will you regret your tattoos when you're old? I must say that no, for sure I won't. Because I mean, I love the beauty of my tattoos, but I got them because they made me feel a certain way, not because they looked a certain way. Yeah. And like, again, yeah, you can like set yourself up for suffering if like your main aim to get a tattoo is that you don't believe that your body is beautiful and you want to make it beautiful with that, and then you will age, and then the story will again continue. Yeah, because the main thing is to start to like love your body and love yourself. And what I also see is that a lot of people can only do that once they like did tons of sports and they look a certain way, and that's when they are actually able to love themselves. And that brings me to another subject. I didn't know that I want to cover this in this video, but anyways, it's on YouTube, so I can talk as much as I want. I kind of prefer that over like Facebook videos and everything that kind of time constraint. So like, I had this kind of weird like schizophrenic thing going on within me for like lots of years, where I was really insecure, but then also I felt really cool in certain environments. Yeah, like it was like this very complex thing. Yeah, where I was like, what am I? Like, am I bipolar or what is this? And when I looked into conditioning and deconditioning, I realized that when I got complimented on things that I really worked hard on becoming, because I felt the outside wanted me to be like that, I felt like I'm the king or the queen, like I'm on top of the world and I'm the best and they're so right because I'm so good. But then there were all these other parts of me that were hidden, and I like didn't show them to people. And in all of these parts, I was really insecure, And so I believe that like with this weird spirituality that's going on at the moment, people actually like change themselves all the time. Yeah, like, and I'm not talking about like self-healing with learning how to regulate your nervous system, or to understand that maybe you have been traumatized, and to get to integrate that trauma. I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about the whole wellness industry that's like, oh, develop your highest potential. You are always living your highest potential. I'm absolutely sure of that. Yeah, like, for sure, like sometimes we get stuck in rhythms and whatever, but like, no, that's so capitalistic and it is so commercial. Like, don't believe that hype. Like, for sure, like if there are things that you want to live and you don't, there are ways to do that. But like, gaslight people into thinking that they can always do more and always be better and always heal more. Yeah, I believe that that's a natural process. It's happening anyways. You can work with it, or you can't, or you don't. But like this overdoing of like all these things is not self-love. It's not loving yourself to have like to take 20 supplements a day, going to 3 different therapists a week, and still not feeling good. Yeah, that's because most of them will not work with your nervous system, which is dysregulated. Yeah, but that's another topic. Anyways, what I'm talking about is, I can use all these like fancy masks and shampoos for my hair, and then still it will not look as it does the rest of the month when I start bleeding. Or I can just embrace that that's my body and that's how it works, and be grateful for my hair to protect my skin and protect my head, right? And yeah, I believe that a lot of like, why are so many people that are in the health industry like they have one body type and they have one type of eating, and that's the only type and that's the only way to do it right? And I don't believe in this. This is dogmatic. Yeah, so what really like what I miss in this is the realness. The realness of life can be fucked up, and it can hurt, and it can be really unfair, and it can make you feel helpless, totally helpless. And we cannot take that away, But what we can do is that we create communities like Enzalia, or we create spaces with our friends and our families and our loved ones where we can go through this together, where we are held when we go through this, where we are carried, where there are people who remind us that it's okay to feel that way right now, but also to remind us that this is a visitor and it's drinking its tea right now. And we will see, like, there are also visitors who take us away with them. Certain sicknesses, like cancer. But then, then that's the next story. So I just believe that it's so much more about being held and understand that life is that way. It's ups and downs. Like they say, you're in the flow when it's good and you're not in the flow when bad shit happens. No. Like, did you ever look at a river? Like, a river, sometimes it goes very smooth and quiet, and then it turns around, and then there's this waterfall, and it has to run over cliffs and everything, and maybe you can go river rafting in the same river. So when life shakes you, remember that you are the river, you are not the boat. Yeah? And this shake is there, I don't want to even say for a reason, but the whole thing is happening for a reason. Yeah, maybe that one shake isn't happening for a reason, but the whole story is happening for a reason. And I believe that we can only see the whole thing again once we left this vessel behind. Yeah, because this whole thing is not capable to understand the big thing. It's not supposed to. Yeah. And instead of striving somewhere and getting somewhere, which is such a capitalistic thing, yeah, and because there is no limit, and that's why I say this spirituality is so capitalistic, because it's limitless. And if you look at what we are on earth, everything has its limits, and that's how it works. If nothing had limits, then everything would be the same, and then the whole experience would just be nothing. It would just blurb. Yeah. So it's important to have boundaries, it's important to have limits. Yeah. And it's important, I love to age. I think it's fascinating. Oh my god, my body breaks more easily now. Oh my god, my skin is different. But for sure in the beginning it's oh, okay, that's weird, but then I love it, because I understand that, if I think of how much I changed in the story of my life, it's very beautiful that my body shows that as well, isn't it? And I love every scar and every story that tells. And I had this near-death experience, so I already kind of died once and returned. And I even look forward to that, I really hope that I am not bound to a bed for 20 years when I'm old. But even if that has to be the experience, then I think the greatest peace I can find with it is to feel the emotions it causes, and then be with what that is, right? Deal with what visitor is here right now and learn from him. Yeah. So yeah, I really believe that we're always in the flow, and sometimes this flow is nice and calm and beautiful, and sometimes this flow is rocky and it's really exhausting, but it's still a flow, and it's still how I embody that flow. I don't even want to say I go with the flow, because I believe I am the flow. Yeah. So how I embody that, when I tattoo people, and I don't tattoo with machine, I only tattoo by hand, so it's very important that your skin works with me. As soon as you start to dense and up, there is a possibility that I will not be able to get the ink into the skin. So that's a very good example for that. The more we tighten up, it's also when my doctor told me this, when you're drunk, fully drunk, and you fall, you will most likely not hurt yourself. And the reason for that is that you don't dense up when you fall, because you don't have that quick reaction, because you're so drunk, you will fall like a sack of potatoes. And because of that, the chances are very high that you will not hurt anything in your body. But as soon as you tension up, you will break a bone, or you will like strain a muscle, or you know. So that's really interesting, and I believe it's the same thing. And so when we always strive to arrive at a point where we are healed, or we are super spiritual, or we are enlightened, or we are so abundant that we earn billions with doing nothing, which I know is like the dream of a lot of people, which doesn't make any sense, because where should all the billions for all the people in the world come from? Why should everyone need billions of dollars? To me, abundance is understand what I need, maybe integrate a little bit of what I want, but not too much, but it's just what I need. And then when I get that, then I'm living an abundant life. And it's not about having like hundreds of thousands coming into my bank account. I mean, that would be beautiful. I could like support many beautiful projects, yeah? But that's not really what I aim for. I also don't want Enzo and Leah to become this like circle, like global circle of billions of people. I mean, on one hand it would be beautiful, but on the other hand I strongly believe that it should be like many tribes and not one. I don't believe in this dogmatic thing. I believe it should be many tribes and many colors and many beliefs that stem from the same thing, that when we are held and when we are with what is, instead of always being focused on what is to become, then we can relax, and then we can go with what comes, and we can embody that flow. But when we are dense, we're like either blaming ourselves or congratulating ourselves that we came here, but now we go further. We're like not really like easing up and going with that flow, whatever that flow right now is, you know? And I believe like we created so much of what we thought we wanted, and now we are here and we understand that it's what our egos wanted, but we are not really nurtured on a soul level by this current like mechanics on the outside, like the systems in place. It's not social, it's not human. And I believe instead of now looking at how can we solve this, how can we solve this, how can we solve this, how can we go somewhere else, is like being here right now with that. And by being that flow, it will automatically carry us forward. And it's not so much about thinking our way there, but about being like when we are where we are at the moment. That's when we start to go with the flow of the universe, you know? So then we also understand, like, funny thing is also, yeah, my foot is hurt, so I can't really walk, like it hurts. And so my head is like not really accepting that fact, yeah? So like sometimes when I talk to my dad and wanted to see him, so I was like, okay, I'll come visit you. And then yesterday I regretted that so much because it was stressful, yeah, with that foot to go to Zurich with public transport. And I realized again that my head is so conditioned into always being in the future, that it takes so much for it to just accept that right now it's about being here and about not moving and about maybe reading a book or just enjoying what is, yeah. And then of course my ego is, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, I have to find a flat, I have to do that, I have to do that, I have to do that. And I'm very grateful that I had this experience yesterday, because now I'm like, no, we won't do anything, it's not happening, my health has priority. And yeah, like I believe that's like the healing we can get in communities by being held, is to not have to feel like we have to run all the time, and to, you know, like when you look at this world, the whole world, like wherever you go, the whole world invites you to reaction, because that's where they get you, yeah. emotionally involved. So you will buy something or follow or subscribe or whatever. Yeah. So having a community where, and I'm not necessarily talking about Enzo and Leo, I'm also talking about like the community you can have when you live with people, like your family or your close friends or whatever, that you can feel held in, where you are free of this constant teasing of a reaction. And that's actually what makes you heal the most. When you can be with others and they do not expect anything from you. Because I believe that through capitalism and everything, like, we all grew up in a world that expected a lot from us. And so we always had to meet the expectations. We never had this space of really understanding, who am I? Who am I within? Who do I want to be within? Yeah, and it's the expectation that you have to be friendly. When I understood that I could actually be an asshole, that was a liberating feeling. You know, like, and that doesn't mean that I want to be an asshole, but then now it's my choice, and it's not a conditioning that I can't be an asshole, right? So, and having this community where you are allowed to give in what you want, like if something moves you, you can share it, but then also, if you currently don't want to talk and you just want to be, and maybe you even want to cry, and there are people who can hold that space without having to make the pain go away, but maybe just with like telling you a little story or anything, making you understand that you are not the only one who feels that pain, and it's a normal part of Earth School to feel that pain. It's a normal part of Earth School to want to solve the pain and not being able to. It's a normal part of Earth School to want to run away or fight the pain. And the healing happens when we can just accept the pain and be with the pain. And I believe, like, in this individualistic society, people are like, be with the pain now, you know, like in this healing thing. And I'm like a little bit, okay, that's really rough, you know, but because that's again like, you're on your own, do it on your own. Like, what? No, that's not healing. Like, please, like, for sure you have to do the work. Nobody else can do the work for you. I cannot feel your pain for you. I can, but it won't make your pain go away. To transform your own pain, you have to feel it. Yeah, but you, like, doing that on your own, in your own space, with all your blame and shame conditioning, no, that's really hurtful and that shouldn't happen. So I believe that, no, first we create a community where we feel held and where we feel like we are a part of that. I want to belong here. I am happy to be a part of this. I feel safe. Yeah, and then I can share, or I can lean back, and I actually have enough resources to face the pain. Yeah, and that's what I believe is what right now, and I'm not talking about the future because it's about now. Yeah, it's there is no future, so to speak. Like, and when we again talk about, we do that in the future, that's where the future leads, then we are again in what I said before. And I believe that this is also right now not about, oh, where can I find that people? No, look around you and see where the people already are. Because a lot of us are also conditioned to search for love in the places where they surely don't get it, because that's how they were conditioned as a child. So a lot of the work that I did was actually looking into my circles and seeing where there is so much love that I couldn't really accept before, because I was so conditioned into looking for it in the other places. And then lean into those people, connect with those people, talk to those people, maybe send them this video, you know? Yeah, and it's something everybody can do, right? And like, if you're interested, like, I don't want to sell you something really, but if you're interested in what Enzo Elia is, you can test it for free for 7 days just to have a look inside. And everything that there is also, like, it's available in German and in English. Like, the whole content is available in English. All the books are written, everything. And I will do the flow sessions and every week in English too. So it's just a different time in English, because I will do it in German first and then I will do it in English. But just so, like, if you don't speak German, don't worry. Like, there is a separate like English community thing going on, simply because I know a lot of people that don't speak English here in Switzerland, so I kind of kept them separate. But you have access to the same content and you're in the same Telegram group, so you can still connect to the other members of the community. And the monthly Risa, that is like kind of like a remote treatment, we do all together. So like energetically the whole tribe is connected all the time. So yeah, like I really like I don't know, like there was this voice in my head since yesterday that was like, we really have to do a video about this. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, just remember, like a river isn't always smooth, and that doesn't mean it's not in the flow. Yeah, so it's a lot about perspective. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up. And yeah, have a lovely day. Bye bye. Thanks for watching.